I'm here today to do my next wrap-up video of the books 30 through 35, so let's get started. The first book I actually listened to, and that is Beauty. It's a retelling of the Beauty and the Beast story by Robin McKinley. I actually read this several years ago when I was in college, and I really loved it, and so when I found it on audiobook, I was really excited. So this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I really like it because you get more of the background of Beauty's family, and so the first like 2/3 of the book is actually her background of how things happened and how her father encounters the Beast and how Beauty actually ends up going to the Beast castle, and I really like that. I think it really did a good job of really doing some really great world building, of character development. I feel like you get a good sense of who Beauty is before she goes to the Beast castle, and it doesn't feel like so much of a prisoner type relationship when she finally goes to the castle. And so I really like that aspect. I would have liked a little bit more of the encounters with Beauty and the Beast, and a little bit more background of the Beast, actually, because you don't get a whole lot of how did the Beast and his family end up in this enchanted castle, what happened, and it's just it's briefly explained but not fully explained. I ended up giving this book I think I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it the second time. I think it's a great story. I think I enjoyed it more reading it. The narrator was okay. I just really hated the voice she had for the Beast. It really drove me absolutely nuts. So every time the Beast was getting ready to have some dialogue, I kind of cringed. So I really enjoyed the story. I would recommend reading it rather than listening to it. Okay, and then the second book I read was actually another audiobook, and that is Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins. I actually started listening to this book probably a year and a half ago, right after I had read Anna and the French Kiss, and I only got I think an hour into it, I just really didn't like it. But then I was traveling a lot and I needed some other books to listen to, and so I was like, I'm just going to give it another shot and see what I think. And after I got past the first hour that I had already listened to, I really enjoyed this story. So if you don't know what this story is about, it is about Lola and obviously the boy next door, hence the title. And so you have Lola, you meet Lola when she's getting ready to be 16 and getting ready to start her junior year of high school, and she's dating this older boy, and just life is just kind of wonderful and fantastic. And then the family that used to live next door to them is moving back in next door, and Lola freaks out because the boy that is in this family, some stuff happened between them, and you don't know what happened, but you know that it's freaking her out. And it's her story of re-encountering this boy, and her story of her relationship with this older boy, and I really, really enjoyed this. I enjoyed it a lot more than Anna and the French Kiss. I thought that, yes, Lola was fairly immature, but I feel like you get a lot of character growth throughout the story, and I enjoyed that just the relationship she has with her boyfriend and then with the boy next door, and how those progress, and there's just the timeline really just makes sense. And even though I don't necessarily agree with Lola's parents, their lifestyle, I appreciated that for once in a YA novel, the parents actually were parents, and Lola respected them, and they disciplined her, and when she did things that were wrong, she got grounded and she got disciplined, and I so appreciated that because you rarely find that in young adult fiction. So I really enjoyed this one. If you read Anna and the French Kiss and you were like, I don't really like it, I would definitely recommend picking up Lola and the Boy Next Door. It is so cute and so fun, and the audiobook is pretty fantastic, and it ended up giving this book I believe 4 out of 5 stars. Moving right along to the next book, and that is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. This is a reread for me. I read it out loud with my husband, and I have a full spoiler-free review down below, so if you want to hear all of my thoughts on it, go check that out. I absolutely loved it. The second time around, it was so good. So if you have not read this and you enjoy science fiction, if you enjoy 80s pop culture and video games, definitely pick this up. It is so fantastic. Moving along to the next book, and and that is The Awakening by Angela Hunt. And I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. It's about this girl, Aurora, who for the past about 10 years, she has taken care of her mother who was suffering from dementia and all that goes along with being a full-time caregiver. And after probably about 3 or 4 years of taking care of her mother, she stops leaving her apartment. So when her mother passes away, she can't even leave the apartment to go to her funeral because she has not left the apartment in close to 7-8 years. And so she relies heavily on the neighbor that is on the other neighbor that is on the floor of her apartment complex, and it is a very, very codependent relationship. And you find you find Aurora, who really does want to move out of this life and this fear that she has, and she tries to take steps of getting outside of her world. But then she starts having these nightmares, and she doesn't know if they're nightmares that are possibly reality, possible memories in her life, and so she's struggling with dealing with these nightmares. And then you have the new next door neighbor that is right next to Aurora's apartment. Of course, it's a guy, and they start becoming friends, which is a huge step for Aurora, stepping out into new friendship. And I absolutely just adored this story. I thought it was a great take on mental illness, on just being social interaction, social panic attacks, and just how I really thought she did a really great job. I personally don't deal with that, but I think it's a great take on the book. So if you know someone that deals with social anxiety, or you personally are dealing with social anxiety, I think that you would really enjoy the story. I do have to say that the ending was a little bit abrupt. I think it could have been probably like 100 more pages, and I would have continued to enjoy the story just to have the ending a bit more fleshed out. But other than that, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a great take on everything that it dealt with in the story. So highly recommend The Awakening by Angela Hunt. And then the last book that I want to talk about is Along for the Ride by Sarah Dessen. This book follows Aiden, who is just graduated from high school and is getting ready to go off to college. And so she decides to do something different in her life, and she decides to go and stay with her dad for the summer in this little beach town. And she lives through the night. She is up all night and sleeps in the morning because of various events in her life. And as she's out one night, she meets this boy who also stays up throughout the night. And they start to have these little adventures together. And it's a story of Aiden seeing that maybe she missed out on a little bit, maybe she's missed out on life because she's been so focused on studies and so focused on getting good grades and schoolwork, and that maybe she missed out on the simple things of life. And I thought it was a great story. It was one of those stories where I got to the end and I really wanted more of this story. I think this would be, I don't know, it really just kind of, the story just continues, and you know that the story is going to continue, but you don't get to be a part of it. If you're looking for a good end of summer book, I think this is a great one to pick up. It was so fun and so enjoyable, and I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, so that ends the wrap-up of books 30 through 35. I hope you guys are having a great reading month. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books, what your thoughts are on any of them, and I'll see you on the flip side. Bye!